children of Adam, every human being should have what secures his or her dignity: food, clothes, accommodation, transportation, work, income, social security, medical treatment. All these are basic for the dignity of the human being. The dignity of the human being is not something hollow. That the human being has mind. Yes, he has mind. But this mind should be educated, should be enlightened with educations. So schools should be open to teach the people. And those who do not go to school for any reason can have classes in the evening or in the weekend to educate them, to enlighten them, to make the dignity of the human being a reality, not just mere words. We are not animals. We have minds. What do we do for our minds? It is an individual responsibility, and it is a collective responsibility to provide schooling for every child. And these are the essential needs of the human being and the essential needs for securing dignity, human dignity. And transportation, وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. Now, in a country like America and in many countries, one may work miles away from home. How can he or she go to work? How can he or she come home? The only way is transportation, and it is essential. One cannot get his salary to spend it on transportation. This should be considered in giving the salary. All this is in the Quran and was elaborated on by the jurists and by the commentators of the Quran. They said, the jurists and the commentator, who is the poor person? The poor person who has the minimum food and the minimum clothes and the minimum home, and he is still poor, and you should give him sufficient food and sufficient clothes and a suitable home. Look to what the jurists, how the jurists define the poor. The poor person who deserves getting zakat is the man or the woman who has food for a week or maybe a month, but not more than this. This is a poor person that should be supported. And he has clothes, or she, for summer and for winter. He's still poor because he has only one dress for summer and one dress for winter. He should have several dresses so that when he has a bath, when he cleans himself, when he has to wash his clothes, he can find other clothes. And a means of transportation. All this is the definition of the poor. in the books of fiqh, in the books of Islamic law, of Sharia, of jurisprudence. And a means of transportation, that means a horse, a donkey, a camel. In that time, in our time, not necessarily a car, but at least the tickets on the bus, on public transportation, which should not hurt his salary. This was the requirements or the definition of the core of the jurists, by the jurists, that they get from the Quran and from the Sunnah of the Prophet, may peace be upon him. So, this is هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. Clarification. We say that we have the Quran and we are proud of this, but we do not know anything in the Quran. And we say we want to apply the guidance of the Quran, but what is the guidance of the Quran? The guidance of the Quran is the ruler is directed to the rulers as well as to the ruled, to the rich as well as to the poor, to men as well as to women, to parents as well as to children, but not only directed to the weak, to the oppressed. And then the powerful people think that they do not need the Quran. They rely on their power. Their power is controlled by the Quran and should be guided by the Quran. This is the first gift of Ramadan. الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. Once a person came to the Prophet, may peace be upon him, in the mosque. The Prophet had from him some loan because the Prophet was not rich. And he told him, "Give me back what you owed me, because I know that your clan may not pay what they are supposed to pay, the rights of the other. Give me my money." And it was not the time. It was before the time. So Umar ibn al-Khattab, the companion of the Prophet, could not bear this way in talking to the Prophet. And he stands up to fight with this man. So the Prophet told him, Umar, I and the man need from you better than this. Guide the man to ask his right in a better way, and tell me to pay my obligation in a better way. This is the justice. Justice connected with ihsan, benevolence, because rough justice may be injustice. You cannot come to your wife and fight her and say, "You should obey me." You also should talk to her decently and kindly and gently, and when she forgets something, just remind her, because she may forget. This is the Quran that we have. Not just something to put in our pockets, or to put in our homes, or to put in the car to protect us from fire or from accidents or from theft.